Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Sabanz. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys the first perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a very, very serious show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my name is Charles Tabansi. My handle is CTABANZ. Want to follow the channel, Instagram, same name as the channel, Dreamers Pro. And if you want today's full show before it comes out on YouTube, it is streaming for free on the Dreamers Pro podcast that we have pinned below. Let me get into this topic here. This is one of the most serious topics we've ever produced on this channel. Very, very serious. We didn't come here to play. We didn't come here to crack any jokes. As you guys know, there's been an ongoing feud between one Jason Whitlock and Stephen A. Smith. Something that's been spanning for years. And then what happened? About a week or so ago, Jason Whitlock, for whatever reason, because I don't know him, decided to produce a series of shows, right? And he produces shows like, intro, A block, C block, B block, all of that, right? And he decided to produce some shows, a series of shows that were centered on Stephen A. Smith's book, his memoir, Straight Shooter. Why he decided to do that, I don't know. But anyway, he decided to do so. And he decided to systematically go through every single line of Stephen A. Smith's book to see of whether or not this guy was actually saying the truth or he was just up there making up flights of fancy and just making up stories. And as he was going through the book, detailing every different thing and things that he disagrees, he knows Stephen A. Smith, it got to the point where he was focusing on Stephen A. Smith's basketball career, but he was referencing Stephen A. Smith's words from his memoir, right? So he would read something, reference that, talk about it, reference it, you understand. And then it gets to the part where Stephen A. Smith attained his basketball scholarship as collegiate on a collegiate level. And as he was going through it, he pointed out something, a major incongruity that even to this day, after Stephen A. Smith's 1 hour monologue, Stephen A. Smith has yet to even refute or even touch. So for those of you who didn't hear the major points, because this is really at the heart of the show here, we want to play it for you guys in its entirety, and I want you guys to listen to it very carefully before we get into the show. Take a listen to what Jason Whitlock had to say there.
So Stephen A. is saying that Winston-Salem State, at the end of their basketball season, when they're preparing for their conference tournament, and maybe trying to qualify for the Division II postseason tournament, that they play a game on Saturday. He wakes up the next morning, they're having a scrimmage that he arrives to late in the middle of, and Big House Gaines checks this 6'1", 150-pound guard from New York City who played a couple of months of high school basketball without acquiring any stats or anything, played a month or two of junior college basketball without acquiring any stats or anything. He shuts down a practice, checks Stephen A. Smith into the scrimmage, and then, according to Smith's account, he knocked down 17 straight shots in the scrimmage. And Big House Gaines offered him a full scholarship immediately after the practice. I'm reading this, and when I read it, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. This is a comic book. And this man's calling this his memoir. He got a full ride scholarship after checking into a Sunday scrimmage after a team played a basketball game on Saturday, knocks down 17 straight shots, and the coach of this team, which if you go read Big House Gaines' memoir, his book, his biography, all Big House Gaines did was complain about how limited his budget was at Winston-Salem State, how the school wasn't flush with cash and a bunch of scholarships for his players. He was always trying to make ends meet. But this frail kid from New York City, he gave a full scholarship to next year's team after watching him play for an hour in a scrimmage because he allegedly knocked down 17 straight shots. Who writes this? Who believes this? I cannot appropriately do justice to the far-fetched story Stephen A. Smith paints in Straight Shooter. Smith has struggled to explain it himself on TV. In November of 2022, not that long ago, November of 2022, what is that, 14 months ago, 15 months ago? On the set of NBA Countdown with Malika Andrews, Jalen Rose, and JJ Redick, ESPN ran a graphic of Smith, Rose, and Redick's senior year stats. Let's play this clip. I don't know what is it? Yeah, slot number 4. Slot number 3. Number 3. I want to play the clip of Stephen A. Smith of Malika Andrews and JJ Redick and Jalen Rose. Here's Stephen A. Smith talking about his senior year.
We're coming off college hoops, guys. Yeah. So I do want to show you all a little something. I got a little something to show you here. Before we dig into the NBA, take a look at this blind resume here. It's 3 players, their scoring average in each person's final college season. Do we have any guesses who this might be? Jalen, who do you think? What is this?
Nah, this is hilarious. JJ's on the right.
It's our starting lineup from tonight.
Well, they're not telling us I only played 1 game because I cracked my kneecap in half, but that's neither here nor there.
That is neither here.
Did y'all just look and hear what Stephen A. Smith just said on national TV? They put his senior year stats up. Everybody's giggling, and you can tell Stephen A's pretty uncomfortable early on. He ain't in on the joke, or maybe no one warned him. I don't know. He tried to loosen up at the end. But then at the end, he says, what they're not telling y'all is I only played 1 game because I cracked my knee. And then, so look, I'm not good at math. Math is not my strength. I was a writer, and I struggle. I use both my hands and toes to count. But walk me through this and walk yourself through it. 1.5 points per game. How do you average that in 1 game? Is there a 1.5 pointer in Division II basketball? How do you do it? It can't be done. See, it can't be done. It's comical. It's an impossibility. And I know I'm not great at math, but you can't average 1.5 points a game in basketball in 1 game. So, that's November of 22.
So you heard what Jason Whitlock had to say. Fantastic. We then go on to produce a show about it. And we produced the show about this yesterday. Gave my thoughts. And then this afternoon, I was going through my Instagram, and I get a message from who I would believe is one of our listeners. His name is Nasir Williams, and I told him I was going to shout him out today. He writes, 1:57 p.m. today. Hey, big fan of your show. I just wanted to point something out. If you go back to the clip with Stephen A., JJ, and Jalen Rose, you'll see he made 5 3-point shots. If I'm not mistaken, if you would only played 1 game, he would have averaged 15 points per game, right? Actually, he would have had to play a few games at least to have made 5 threes and only average 1.5 points per game. I just wanted to point this out to you if you didn't notice. First of all, Nasir, thanks for the comment. Shout out to him. He seems like a very young guy. So for you to point that out, man, you're very, very astute young guy. So shout out to you, man, and wishing you a great day. So he sent that over. And I sat back and I started to think to myself, well, what the hell is really going on here? Because I'm beginning to get confused. I'm beginning to get truly, truly confused. So I then decided, you know what? Let me go back and watch the clip that Jason Whitlock referenced. And as a matter of fact, I want to play it for you guys. And as we're playing it for you, I want us to show you the graphic itself of what they're showing in that clip. And then we're going to come back. Take a listen to what Malika Andrews says, especially in the beginning of the clip. Take a listen to what she has to say here and listen to that clip.
Malika Andrews, we are live from Seaport, brought to you by Patron. Perfection. It starts with Patron. And we're coming off college hoops, guys. So I do want to show you all a little something. I got a little something to show you here before we dig into the NBA. Take a look at this blind resume here. It's 3 players, their scoring average in each person's final college season. Do we have any guesses who this might be? Jalen, who do you think? What is this?
Nah, this is hilarious. JJ's on the right.
It's our starting lineup from tonight.
Well, they're not telling.
dropped your dime
What
off.
they're not telling is I only played 1 game because I cracked my kneecap in half. But that's neither here nor there.
That is neither here nor there. Let's get.
So you heard what Malika Andrews had to say. In the graphic, it says at the bottom, on their final year, she said, if you listen very carefully, Malika Andrews said, in their final college season, the very bottom, you can pause the video and go back. It shows 0 of 5, 25 shooting from the 3 from Stephen A. Smith's name. Good. Now, or he made 5 or something, 5 for 25, 5 for 25 threes under Stephen A. Smith's name, and you saw the little thing highlighted. So they were talking about Stephen A. Smith. And then I said to myself, wait a minute. Something is off. If they're attributing those 5 3-point shots, how does Stephen A. Smith only play 1 game and average 1.5 shots, 1.5 points, but yet here ESPN is running this graphic showing he made 5 out of 25 3-point field goal attempts? Then I really got into it and I said, okay, I need to get to the bottom of this. So I started searching Stephen A. Smith YouTube because I remember him talking about it over the years, and I just started searching for it. And then I came across a video from ESPN First Take. This was when Skip Bayless was there. So we're going back that far. And Skip Bayless was much younger. And at that time, they were filming a show that was actually close to Stephen A. Smith's alma mater. And during this segment, they were actually talking about Stephen A. Smith's college accomplishments. And I want to play exactly what was said in this clip. And most importantly, I want you guys to listen to Stephen A. Smith himself describe his basketball career. Take a listen to that.
We're not far from Winston-Salem State, which is where my colleague Stephen A. Smith went to school. Is this correct?
This is correct.
Wait, you went to school?
He did go to school.
I did not know he went to school.
Take a look at that photo. Woo.
Stephen A.
That's right, Stephen A. Throwback.
Stephen A.
So in honor of Stephen A., we have a life-size vintage cutout of Mr. Stephen A. Smith. And from my understanding, you were a gunner. You were big with that three-pointer for what we were able to research.
I tell people all the time.
Look at you. Heavy the basketball. We need the basketball.
Is that life size? It looks like you shrunk a little since college, right?
Please. Hey, if y'all noticed the hairline was just a little bit closer.
Little closer,
but that's how it goes sometimes.
No,
but it's
it
all
still
right.
looks
Those
similar.
are my days. Hey, listen,
It's
that
still
was
the same.
that was 25 years ago.
You guys give it up for
bet.
Mr. Stephen A. Smith.
Our research uncovered that while playing at Winston-Salem State,
Yes.
While trying to play.
you shot too many threes. You missed too many threes, which doesn't surprise me at all because now you talk too much and you miss way too many points, right?
I would like to add this. Yet with all of that said, I'm sitting up here with you.
Yeah.
All right. And by the way.
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say, right? Low foggy, but you heard what he had to say. But then there's a very big problem because something occurred. What occurred? About, let me say 3 or 4 months ago, if my memory serves me properly, there was a show on Paul George's podcast, Paul George's podcast, where Jackie Long, who's one of the hosts on the show, he was actually going at Stephen A. Smith because he was commenting on players that were injured. Then what happened? Stephen A. Smith gets a whiff of those comments, and then Stephen A. Smith decides to basically call out Jackie Long, and then he gets invited to go to Paul George's show, showing up, looking like a music mogul, right? He gets there, and they're talking, and then it gets to the part where they ask him about his what? His college career. And in a shocking turn of events, The same Stephen A. Smith turns around and says, people make fun of me about my 1.5. The fact of the matter is, I didn't even play in college with your ignorant asses. If you don't believe me, we're going to play exactly what Stephen A. Smith said on the Paul George show right now. We're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say.
You actually received a basketball scholarship.
Yes, I was on a basketball scholarship at Winston-Salem State University. My first year there, I cracked my kneecap in half. I was never able to play again. I actually had to leave school for a semester to go home under my mother's insurance to rehab because they wouldn't pay for the insurance in North Carolina. So I would come back, make the team, trying to practice, and once every 36 to 48 hours, my knee would just give out. I couldn't run without the limp and all of that other stuff. And that's what happened. So what I said was, everybody teased me 1.5 points a game. I said, no, it was less. I never played because I cracked my kneecap in half with your ignorant ass. I still got a 6-inch screw in it to this very day. They never took it out because back in the day, they would leave it out. Then technology advanced and they would take it out. But by that time, it was in the 2000s. My career was thriving and I didn't want to take any time off to go back and take the screw out and have to rehabilitate all over again because I knew I wasn't going to play. They told me I could live with the screw on my knee. That's what I did.
Did you just hear what the man said? Did you just hear what this man just said? This man just said on Paul George's show that he never played a game. But then on ESPN, he was up there laughing and saying, but what they wouldn't tell you is all I played was one game. What? And what? Did he really just say that? Did I just really hear that? This is damning information. Damning. Number one, Jason Whitlock was right. Period. End of story. Number two, I was wondering, and now I understand why he never refuted that point. As a matter of fact, Stephen A. Smith didn't refute pretty much any of Jason Whitlock's points. What he did was call him out or call him names and then bring up other stories. But he didn't refute a single point. Or if he did, he refuted one. But this particular one, he did not refute. And it makes me begin to wonder, is this guy just up here telling us stories? You see, if Stephen A. Smith sees this show, he might or might not, I don't care. I don't care if Stephen A. Smith responds to me. Quite literally, I don't care. I don't care to meet these people. I don't care. Some of these dudes think they really think people be wanting to know these dudes. I really don't care. I'm a family. I got my daughter. I got my wife and all. I got my mom. I got my friend. I don't care. I don't be caring. I'm sorry. I don't be going to bed fantasizing. The only person I wanted to meet was Kobe Bryant, who's now deceased. I wanted to meet Tony Alumelu. I met him. Ain't really that much any else I'd want to meet. So I don't care. I don't care. Oh, I lost who cares? I'm just keeping it. I'm just keeping it funky with you. I don't care. I'm sorry. I don't be getting wet for these dudes like some of these other dudes. I'm sorry. But anyway. If he sees this is damning, because then we got to ask the pertinent question, which is this: if you're lying about this till today, what else are you lying about? What else are you lying about? You see, these are the people that Cat Williams was talking about. There's a reason why they're calling this is the year of truth, when all lies will be exposed. This is the year of it all, folks. No lie can live forever. People are telling on other people. People are slipping up, telling on themselves. You've seen it every day. But this is damning. This is damning because this guy uses this as one of the pillars to say that he is qualified to talk about basketball. Do you realize how serious this is? That's like somebody going to go try to perform a brain surgery, talking about he went to so-and-so medical school, and then we found out he didn't go. So Stephen A. Smith is just like any other fan out there talking basketball. Because this story makes absolutely no sense. Even Marcellus Wiley, who's a fan of who's a friend, of the channel, even he, when he was listening to Stephen A. Smith's recruitment story, he was like, this is bull, you know what? And this is a former NFL player saying this is just some Final Fantasy stuff. He's just making up stories here. He's like, it don't work like that, people. That's not how players get recruited. And I was like, wait, what? So we got a serious problem here. Because none of this don't make sense. ESPN is running graphics that are wrong. Talking about and somebody would have sat back and asked a question if we were using our damn brain. I'm talking about all of us. We would have sat back and looked at that graphic and been like, hold up. This thing is saying 1.5 points, but yet he made 5 3-point shots. How you do that, son? How you do that, doggy? How you do that? Let me go up and look. Let me go back and see if I can find this damn. Folks, I'm going to read it for you again. It says, 1990 to 1991, final college season, PPG, 1.5 points per game. All right? On what? 5 for 25 shooting, 5 for 22 on threes. Some of us got to go back to math, got to go back to school. Some of us got to go back to school. And it's highlighting his name. Some of us got to go back to school. Because all of us read this. Excuse me. This clip has been out for a year and nobody noticed this except Jason Whitlock. So listen, for whatever we say about Jason Whitlock, he's the only one that I've heard point this out. He's the only one. Think what you may of him, but he's the only one that pointed this out. This dude up here capping. And if you ever see the show and you want to don't address me. Don't address me. Address what you said. Address the points. It's not I don't care. Address the points. Don't personalize it and make it seem about this and make it seem about that. Address, because boy, this ain't looking good. What? Did y'all hear the litany of audio we just played for you? And this is a young kid that pointed this out. We got to go back to school. We got to go back to, because something wrong with all of us that we didn't pick up on that. But anyway, these are my thoughts. I think this is damning information. And this needs to be talked about more. Because now it's beginning to make us wonder, well, who are these people that we listen to every day, talk to sports on TV and all, and talk about the news? Are they just making these people up? Or they just, hey, okay, you go do that job. That's you. Because none of this don't make no damn sense. What they didn't tell you is I only played one game. Well, I don't care with the ignorant asses. I didn't play any games. Yeah, I'm out.